Good morning, everyone. This is Fred Emery, Vice President of Heartland Campus Solutions. Joining me today is Dave Siegel, Vice President of Business Development as well. And today we're talking about student activities and event management with OneCard. This webinar is in listen-only mode. If you have any questions, by all means, you can ask them of us. You just need to go to the GoToWebinar control panel, click on the area where it says questions, and simply type in the questions that you have. We'll be monitoring it throughout the presentation, and we'll be able to answer those questions throughout, but we will allow time at the end as well to answer those questions. The webinar is also being recorded, so if you want to view it again or pass it along to some colleagues at your campus, you'll be able to direct them to our website, heartlandcampussolutions.com, and they will be posted on the website there. So to begin, today we'll be discussing student activities and event management with OneCard. You should have seen the screen just change. The objectives today is first we'll cover who is Heartland Campus Solutions, a little bit of background on who we are and our parent company, Heartland Payment Systems. We'll then review the different activity classifications within OneCard and different event classifications, the different type of events that can be set up. We'll review and talk a little bit about the benefits of managing events through OneCard. Then we're really going to go live. Dave is going to take us on a live tour of the event module within the OneCard system, show us how to set up events and different activities and how you can access those events. We'll then move on to reviewing terminals for card acceptance that validates for those activity privileges or event privileges against the database and what you've set up as events. And of course, then we'll answer any questions that you may have. So to jump right into it, let's talk a little bit about Heartland. Heartland Campus Solutions is a division of Heartland Payment Systems. We have over 3,000 employees at Heartland Payment Systems, 800 plus sales professionals, 500 plus in the development and security area of our IT infrastructure, and 700 plus in customer service and operations support. We work with more than 250,000 merchants throughout the country, 1,600 which are colleges or universities using one or more of our product sets. Some are OneCard clients, some are doing payment processing, some are doing refund management or loan management through our division. Heartland is endorsed by 250 plus associations. Um, Now, in case you're not aware, Heartland Payment Systems is a payment processor. What that means is we work to allow retail locations, restaurants, clothing stores, drugstores, pretty much any location, whether it's a brick and mortar, a physical location, or a web based store, to accept credit cards and debit cards as a form of payment. Um, Heartland processes a lot of card transactions. In 2012, our statistics are 3.3 billion transactions in that year. And and more than $122 billion in volume. The reason why we bring this up is Heartland's core business is transaction processing. We're able to take a card and process it over a network against the database to make a transaction go through in a secure environment. So whether it's an activity transaction, a financial transaction, an access transaction, our core business is processing those cards, and we can bring that knowledge of Heartland Payment Systems to our OneCard clients and make sure that you're aware and are able to process card transactions on your campus. Now, in the area of activity management, just a little bit of background. Uh, I came from Hofstra University originally. I worked at Hofstra University and running the card system. But prior to that, my main job function was in student activities. So campus activities, student activities is sort of near and dear to my heart. That's where I got my start. And one of my job functions was specifically dealing with um, the ID card. When we expanded into a full OneCard system, I then went and managed that aspect, but I still had roots in activities and utilized the system for activity management. When we had parties on campus or concerts on campus, we would set it up with the OneCard system, set them up and define them in the OneCard system, and accept the card to validate students that they belonged at that event or that they came to a certain party or what have you. Um, one example is we've had a number at Hofstra when I was there, a number of presidential conferences, as well as Hillary Clinton had at that time when she was first lady had come to the campus to talk about healthcare, and we used card readers to validate the students coming in and keep track of what students attended that event. Um, so utilizing the one card system, there's a lot of functions and features to keep track of who's going to events, validate that they're supposed to be there, and provide data back to the campus of attendance. So within OneCard Activity Management, what you'll do are our event module. You utilize that to define any type of event or service. It'll allow you to utilize paperless tickets and charge fees for attending events as need be. Additionally, they don't have to just be student events. Perhaps you have alumni events on your campus. You're able to keep track of those as well and validate alumni coming into those specific events or using services on your campus. We used to allow our alumni to utilize our computer labs, our recreation center, and our swim center when I was at Hofstra. So we were able to, by issuing them cards, give them access to various services. The event module does have web based management tools as part of it, allowing students to go online and purchase the ability to attend an event or a service, or just simply assign themselves to attend an event or service. You can, of course, set the maximum seat count for a facility and allow either multiple or single entries. Let's say a sporting event, you only want to allow individuals to come in once. If they leave the arena, they can't come back in. That's all definable within the one card system. Once you've set up events and defined them to individuals or they've purchased the event, you then would need to validate them through a terminal, any of our one card terminals. And this, of course, we'll go through in a little while and talk to you about the different selection or choices you have of terminals to validate that access via either their card or from a mobile device. The event module is an integrated module. It's one of our core modules that's part of the OneCard system. So it's designed to work completely within the infrastructure of the campus OneCard system. Additionally, you can set up any type of event or service to allow for the person who's attending to choose, let's say, the reason for the service. Perhaps you set up a service for tutoring or attending the counseling session. You can choose which counselor you're meeting with or what subject you're being tutored for when you present your card to enter that facility for that service. Additionally, if you're going to a location and you have multiple events on the same day, you can choose which event you're going to, which event you're attending. Maybe it's a huge conference center. Well, which conference or which room are you going to at that conference center? Now, there's basically four different types of activities that you can set up within the one card system. And Dave is going to show these to you in just a little while. But as a broad overview, you can define any type of event. This might be a sporting event, a concert, any type of single occurrence of an event or activity. Could be movies that are shown on campus, a seminar series, a seminar that's happening on campus. You have a special speaker that's coming in that students might want to go to, a music concert, a theater event, any type of sporting event. You define that in the system and it has a specific date for that event. So it's a single occurrence of an event. You could also define series of events. Basically, after you've defined individual events, you can group them together, such as season tickets to basketball or football games or hockey games, or season tickets for the concert series or a speaking series that's appearing on campus. You can define that as a series of events. So someone can make one assignment or one purchase and have access to all of those events underneath it. Additionally, you can create services. This could be the use of a specific facility or a service, such as your recreation center, uh, the use of a swimming pool, tutoring services, your health center, infirmary, as such. Define those services and allow students to choose to take part of that. Might be for a charge. Perhaps you need to take out a membership for the swimming pool, or pay a fee to utilize the recreation center. You can charge for those services. A service will have a specific start date and period of use. So maybe it's the ability to use the swim center for 1 year, but it starts on January 1st and it goes through New Year's Eve. Um, it's a defined, specific period of time for that service. We also have variable services, which is much like your standard service that I just mentioned. However, the date that the service will start and allow you to utilize that service will vary by individual, and it's based upon when they've been assigned that service or have purchased that service. So if I purchased it, March 1st and it's for a year, mine will go all the way till the end of February if of the following year. If Dave bought his on April 1st, his will go all the way, and it's a year-long service, all the way till the end of March that following year. So you are able to have those varying dates, and those are great for if you have, let's say, community memberships or memberships where individuals are purchasing those services, and you need to keep track for the length of time that they're utilizing them. Now, you may be wondering why you should use OneCard for events and activities. You might have seen some specific software that's designed for management of events or activities on campus. Um, and you may be wondering, well, why would I want to use the module within OneCard? Well, a couple of reasons now is that it utilizes an existing database. It's part of the OneCard system, so it's designed fully to accept your campus card and tap into the accounts that you've already established, allowing you to minimize the number of databases and servers that you have on campus and tie it all together. You're not syncing up data between systems for account information. If your students are in the one card system and they have a specific expiration date, it allows you to make sure and utilize that database for accessing their activity or privilege, and verifying that they have access to a specific activity or event. Uh, the one card system also will keep all that data in one central place. So you can track time at an activity or event, um, allowing you to see when someone came into the event and possibly left the event. It also allows you to do a lot of data mining. Being that it's the one cohesive database for one card, you could pull reports and get data out of the one card system for who attended what events, what their classification was, uh, what groups they're a part of, and possibly market to those individuals, do some target marketing, and provide statistics of when individuals are utilizing facilities, maybe adjusting your staffing accordingly. If you have a lot of students coming to the rec center from 2 to 4 in the afternoon, maybe you then add more staff to that hours, but drop it down from noon to 2 when students are more in class. Additionally, if you need other resources, you can pull it in accordingly and possibly offer discounts at a certain time of day for attending or utilizing a service if you charge for that, as opposed to a time when it's high traffic. By using OneCard to track your events and activities, you can move the entry to the card, and you would present the card, tap it, swipe it, depending upon what card type you utilize on a card reader. You don't have to issue paper tickets to the students or utilize lists that you're going to check somebody off if they belong there. It's all in the system, all automated, real time, online. So you just present the card through one of the terminals, validate that someone is supposed to be there, that they're current and not expired, and it will keep track of who enters the event or utilizes the service. You can also reduce a lot of foot traffic on your campus through the OneCard event module. Your sales for events and services can all be done via the web. Point your students to OneWeb, allow them to sign up for different events or purchase services, sign up for services right from the web. So you don't have those students coming in to the office to or a certain area on campus to sign up for events. They can do it all online. Additionally, if you wanted to, you can grant permissions to students to attend events or utilize services specifically based on groups or categories. So they don't even have to then go to the web, it's just an automatic. We would assign every student the ability to use the recreation center, the swim center, and the computer labs based upon their category. So they automatically had access to those facilities as part of our event module and were tracked when they went in. We didn't have to have them request to utilize it. It was an automatic process when we created accounts. So that can be done as well to streamline your process. And additionally, by allowing students to go online to sign up for events and services or purchase events and services, you can reduce a lot of cash handling. Have it all go to the web and allow them to use their OneCard as a form of payment, make deposits to the OneCard and purchase with the OneCard. And soon they'll be able to use a credit card simply to sign up for an event or service as well, right through the web. So there's a number of different benefits and reasons why OneCard can really help you manage your events and activities. It really streamlines your process to an existing system that you already have on campus with an existing database. Now, what we're going to do now is take a look into the system. I'm going to just switch over to Dave Siegel as a presenter, and Dave, you'll just need to share your screen.
Fred, can you see my screen now?
Hold on one second. Yes, I can. Yep, your screen is live.
All right, let's dig into the event module right now. I'm going to click on events. And I've already predefined some events, so we can take a look at it. And it's very easy to define events. Events might be theater tickets or theater events. So I've created 3 theater events. Let's look how we fill in the blanks here, basically. You can name this any way that you want. And the event will probably occur on a single day. You could charge a price. You can't put in a maximum seat count, so you don't exceed the number of tickets that you can seat in the theater. And you can track who gets credit for the sales, or what we call bill types. You can allow an override to the $8. You can also allow, for access rules, allow multiple entries for the account holder, issuing on the web, and allow how many tickets you can restrict a person to purchase. Now I've defined 3 events: Theater 1, Theater 2, Theater 3. A person could purchase one or more of these events, either singularly or maybe purchase a series. I've priced these 3 events at $8 per event. Now, to create a series, you merely create the name of the series, and then you list the events over in the left panel. I can remove that, or I can put it back. That's how easy it is to create a series. So where you may sell an event at $8 a piece, you could reduce the price to $20 for an event for 3 access to each particular series.
Dave, we did have one question come in. Um,
Yes.
as you were talking about pricing, that says, can you set multiple prices for one single event? Now, uh, if I'm correct on this, in the event you're basically setting up one price for the event as a whole within this module. However, you could do that within our box office module, correct? You could have multiple
Yes, you
pricing
could
levels
also
in
set
box
up,
office.
right. So if you want to charge a different price for a different, let's say students got in at $8 an event for, let's say, the theater, but a community member may pay, or uh, someone else may have to have a higher rate. You could create two events in here and have a different price depending on who you're selling the ticket to.
Okay, and then limit who has rights to that based upon, say, categories, so or grouping, so that students, community members couldn't really purchase the student event.
Correct.
And additionally, we do have a box office module that allows more assigned seating, and you can set up sectors or sections with different pricing in a facility. We are doing a webinar on that, I believe, next week. So if you haven't signed up for that, you can go ahead and um, to our website where the all these webinars are listed, and you can sign up for that for the box office webinar. And we'll go into that a little more detail next week.
Okay, so we talked about an event is a single occurrence, and a series would be more than one event that you tag as a series. Events could be your athletic games. Maybe you have a football stadium, and you're creating an event for each uh, home game, and you want to track the number of entries by students and as particular groups. So events are a single event. Uh, Fred talked about services. Services could be set up to allow, let's say, students access for pass-fail into the recreation center. And there may not be any service charge for this because it's paid through their activity fee. And this can be downloaded through our download program and issued to every student uh, in your database that has permission to pay their activity fees. So here I've set up a student spring access to the rec center as far as with respect to a service. I also set one up for the fall. So you can set these up in advance. They will not start until the start date, and they will complete on the end date. You could also use services as a way to sell certain items. You may have a card office and you sell replacement cards for $20. You could actually track your sales of your cards and keep it all within the general ledger accounting system of the OneCard database as well. Now, a variable service, you may have memberships for faculty and staff, And the way that this works is when I issue a service to a faculty staff member or a community member, I would set this a fixed date on when that service would end. So we'll get into that in just a moment here. Let's sell a variable service to a faculty member here. Faculty staff membership to the rec center. And let's say the $125 will allow this faculty staff member to access the rec center for 6 months from the date that they sign up for the service. Whoops. Insufficient funds. Excuse me. And now we have a full accounting with the cash taken in, whether it be check or credit card, as well as issuing that service to Sandra for a 6-month period. The same thing could be done for community members as well. Your price for them may be a different service charge. Now, let's say that you have terminals within the rec center and you need to apply rules to those services or events. Let's take a look at access rules now. Let's take a look at the rec center. And now we have faculty, staff, variable service. You can create this rule to go out as long as you like. It doesn't matter that it says 2020 here because Sandra has only been issued a 6-month service. And the system will make sure that upon October 2nd arriving, Sandra would not be able to enter the rec center. So this rule applies to faculty staff memberships, and it would let Sandra in whenever the rec center is open for these hours. Fred, that's as simple as it can get.
Yeah, absolutely. We did have a question come in, another one that says, you may have already mentioned this, but when a student wants to access a facility that they pay for through their student fees, does the system pull current student status from our university database to ensure the student still has access? Does the system automatically update the records so that they are accurate on a day-to-day basis? Now, for this, where you're just based upon fee that they'd have access to a facility, you can simply set up a rule for that facility based upon a group or a category that they're part of. And as you're updating accounts on a daily basis from your SIS system into OneCard, it would either remove or add them. Additionally, if they're not active, you could have their expiration date changed, and that would then prohibit them from accessing that facility if they didn't have the right group or weren't in the right category or they were expired. They wouldn't be able to access that facility. So it's a straight up um, check of their account for proper category and group or an expiration date to make sure that they're valid. If you were assigning them to a certain service, additionally, in that when you set up the rule for the service and the service is assigned to them, if they don't qualify for that service, when you get your feeds over from your SIS, if they don't qualify to have that service, you can remove that service from their assignment, and it wouldn't allow them then to access the service. Um, Additionally, if their account is expired, if you let's say they're no longer a student, they pulled out and you expire their account, when they, even if the service is still assigned to them, it will fail at the reader at that time because they're not a current student. So when Dave's showing you here how to remove a service, and there were some check boxes there that says recover seat, um, so that you can issue it to someone else if it had a maximum seat count, and to refund them or not, to keep track of the money refunds. So maybe they're not going to have access to the event anymore, but uh, you can. So maybe you don't refund the money. They're not having access, but it's past the point in time where you can get a refund. So you're not going anymore, but I'm sorry, you don't get your money back, type of a situation. And those are all obviously procedures and policies that you set in place to what matters to your campus. Another question: would we have to manually update the system each day? Do we have to enter every student into the OneCard system, or will OneCard pull every student from the database? Um, in terms of OneCard itself, the account information in OneCard that you're accessing by the events is all the same data. So you're not having to update individual students for events per se. When the account is updated in OneCard, it's updated for any of the modules within OneCard. So you don't have to. So OneCard is using the same database, so it's not pulling every student from a separate database for events. It's looking right into the OneCard system. In terms of manually updating the system each day or entering every student into the OneCard system manually, that all comes from feeds from your SIS system. So, however often you decide to push out information to OneCard, the utilities in OneCard, such as mail, will grab those updates and process it to update the accounts. Some campuses will do this every day. Some campuses will do it more than once a day. Some campuses might do it once a week, depending upon their student body and how in flux they are. So you do have the ability um, to get that data from your student information system. For example, if you have Banner, we do have web service to web service integration. The next question was regarding what device equipment to use to check them into the facility. Could you sell the event using a POS and then use the POS to check their status to allow them into the facility or event? Um, this is a perfect segue, so thank you, Joyce, into the next part of the presentation. You can, and Dave, I'm going to take back control.
Okay.
Dave, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to this question. Um, Could you sell the event using a POS? Absolutely. And you can set up a POS to check for access. So you can use a POS if need be to allow them into a facility or event. However, we do have a number of different terminals that you can utilize, and we'll get into that now. Uh, Additional question that came in was regarding Verify, and we're going to touch on that uh, right at this time. One tool that you can utilize to allow to check validity of a student, or do that activity privilege check that they have access for an event or service, is a product called Verify. It's a PC based software. It runs on any administrative terminal that you define within the OneCard system with an attached USB card reader. could be mag stripe or contactless. Simply tap the card or swipe the card, and it will verify against the rules that are defined for this terminal. So if you have a rule that's set up for a specific event or service, and this terminal is defined as part of that location, it will check to make sure that that cardholder has rights and privileges for entry to that event or services and record it. It also will, as you see right here, show their photo and some information. You'd get pass or fails. The text here will change to red if it's a fail. You can check entries or exits to an event. If somebody doesn't have their card, you can manually enter it and process it. So that's something that is up to you whether you wanted to manually enter events somebody's account number to verify them. So this is available for on PCs. So if you have, let's say, your health center, you have your main counter there where students may come in, and there's a computer there that uh, the person who sits at that counter operates for any number of reasons. You could have this running on the same computer. It can actually run in the background in the taskbar, minimize, just in the background. Um, when other things are being done on that computer, you still can present the card and we'll get notification of that pass or fail. It's audible, as well as the card swipe color will change. So to answer the specific question, I have Verify already. Um, they have a Subway night coming up on April 28th. How do I save those and how do I access those after I have saved them? Well, when you're using Verify, it's online real time, so it's actually storing them in the OneCard database. So you'll see here on the screen the listing of transactions. You can go back and click on them at any time to view them. However, all those transactions are recorded in OneCard. So you would simply go into OneCard under your report menu and view access reports, and you could see all the entries for that terminal. So that's where you would be able to see all the students that entered and save that report, export it out to a file, um, or print it. Either one, save it or print it, and be able to view who came into to that facility or to that event. So um, Sydney, if you aren't exactly sure how to pull up that report and see those transactions, I can ask somebody from client support to give you a call, or you can feel free to call into our support team when it's convenient for you and just let them know you have Verify and you want to learn how to pull the reports to see the transactions from that terminal, and they'll be able to walk you through it fully. If you can't get into reports, it just might be that your login does not have access to the needed report screen, and your login just needs to be adjusted to have access to those reports. So, client support would be the best location or area for you to make sure that everything's set up properly. In addition to Verify, you can utilize any of our DCT terminals that you have used in the past, or our new Quattro terminal, which is a touchscreen device. It can be physically mounted on a wall or placed on a countertop and even mounted to a countertop. So it's a great tool. We'll accept contactless as well as magnetic stripe cards, and you can see it here pictured on your screen. So that's one terminal that you can utilize. Uh, we covered Verify and now the Quattro terminal or any of our DCT terminals. Additionally, any of our access related terminals, such as our multi door controller, can also be used for verifying somebody for event or service access. So let's say you have a huge football stadium or a basketball arena or hockey arena. You can utilize a multi door controller within that facility and have a card reader wired to each entry location that a student would swipe their card. Maybe you have a turnstile. You can have a card reader at that turnstile to verify the students. Additionally, we have wireless access control devices or control readers. We work with Allegion's AD400 series readers that would can be attached to a turnstile or just placed at a gate entry or even with they do have a handheld unit to accept the card, and that'll communicate wirelessly back to the multi-door controller. So you have a number of different hardware options for you in terms of the Quattro or multi-door controller, any DCTs that we have out in the field that we've produced in the past. Additionally, we also can move into the mobile area, and this is really where I see a lot of our campuses really expanding usage of the card and activities through these mobile terminals to accept the card, such as M Authenticate. It's available for iOS and Android devices. It's basically a mobile transaction terminal. So you would simply tap on the access portion of this because this terminal can be used for meals, financials, as well as access and activity privileges. You would simply click on access, swipe the card, tap the card, or accept a transaction from our student mobile applications, where it's using basically the virtual OneCard to send a transaction to this mobile terminal. So the card doesn't even need to be pulled out of their pocket or wallet. Just from their mobile phone, they can send the transaction and it would verify them accordingly. Additionally, you can send it for automatic transactions and it will auto process those mobile transactions that come over. So um, if somebody sent a transaction from their mobile phone, the person standing at the gate basically just needs to sit there and watch it, and they'd view the pictures and see the passes as people are entering the facility, and they could verify them that way. So this is a great tool. We see a lot of campuses starting to move this way, not just for activity and access, event privilege verifications, but they can use it for financial functions. So this is a great device if maybe somebody will come to the event who hasn't paid for it yet, and you're swiping cards for students that have already paid on the access portion, but now I come to the event and said, yeah, I didn't pay in advance, but I want to come in. The charge to attend that event is $5. You simply click over to financial, charge my account $5, and let me in. Um, and then you have the verification from that and the reporting of who's paid, and you're having the funds accordingly brought into your budget. So M Authenticate is an option for you. In terms of card readers, we do have a number of card readers that can be utilized with M Authenticate from the various mobile devices that are out in the field. One is a Cradle device called the iApps. You place your iPhone or an iPod Touch in the Cradle. It can communicate either Wi-Fi from either the iPhone or the iPod Touch, or cellular broadband from the iPhone, and process those transactions against our web service. We do have a audio jack reader. This is great if you're doing a low to medium amount of card transactions. If you're swiping cards every second for a couple of hours, you may want to have a more robust reader. But this is great for a card every little bit, small or medium load of card transactions. As you get into a high volume of card transactions, maybe your 20,000, 30,000 seat arena or stadium, you may need a more robust reader. And for that, I'd recommend our Blue Bamboo um, Bluetooth card reader. It does have a receipt printer attached to it as well, or the Infinite Peripherals card reader case. It does contactless as well as MagStripe. This is the same exact reader that is utilized in the Apple stores, so it is a tried and true terminal. Additionally, there's a card reader that can do contactless and magnetic stripe for an iPad mini, as well as a card reader that can be used for a standard iPad. You could even place this in a stand if need be. There is a mounting arm that can be utilized for this if you need it more permanently affixed to a location. So you do have some options there. On Android devices, any USB standard reader can be attached to the Android device as long as it has a USB port. So if you're using iClass technology in your cards, an iClass USB reader, such as ones from RF Ideas, will work perfectly for you in that area. And the next application in the area of mobile is a new application. It's not yet released to production. It's still in development and is currently in our testing department called OneCard Check-in. Basically, this takes some of the features that you have in M Authenticate for those privilege verifications, but it makes it much more simple and it can also be utilized as a self-serve terminal. Whereas M Authenticate, you generally want to have it as an operator managed terminal. One card check-in is a self can be used as a self-serve terminal as well. And it's straight up access or privilege verification transactions for events and services. It is has presently been done on Android and is being moved over now to iOS, and it is in testing as I mentioned. But you simply would tap your card or swipe your card. You would receive your photo and the account information with a check mark or an X. You could do check in or check out, so it's self service and pretty simple. As you see here, the picture is rather small. That's just the way it appeared in this screenshot. Obviously, the picture would be full size as you're used to in M Authenticate or any of our other terminals that would show a picture. This is still in development, so there's a couple of things that are being worked out in testing. But this will be a great tool for campuses that need a straightforward check-in application, self-service or can be operator-based to check the card and just quickly check those privileges and record them in the one card system. Do you have a question that came in? And I'm going to um, turn this back over to Dave Siegel to demonstrate this application live. When it's done, we will have a specific webinar solely on this check-in app to show you all the configuration, setup, and how it operates. But this is going to be just a quick one. We're not exactly sure when this will be available. It is in testing now, so we're hoping it is available within the next short while, maybe a month or so. As soon as it's available, though, we are going to let everyone know about it and do a release announcement. So you'll see that it's available, and if you'd like to purchase it or utilize it, by all means, then we can get that to you. Um, if anyone is interested in beta testing, let me know. I know we already have a couple of beta programs going on, but we'll see if we need some beta testers with various databases on the back end of one card or different card types. We're always looking for those that are willing to pilot or beta test something. So just let me know if you're interested in that. So I'm going to turn this back over to Dave, where he'll be able to um, show you the check-in app.
Can you see it now, Fred?
I can see it. Yes.
Okay. I don't have a reader attached to it, so I'm going to do some manual input. But what you're looking at is a live demonstration. I'm using a Nexus 7 tablet, runs about $200. In fact, it even has NFC built into it. So if you're using like a MyFair smart card, you wouldn't even need a reader with it. But basically, I'm going to emulate swiping a card. And this would be, I've got this basically in unattended mode, or it could be attended mode, depending on how you want to use this. I recently did some campus visits to some of our Canadian clients this past week. One campus said this is perfect what they're looking for shuttle bus rides on campus, uh, to track how many students are using the shuttle buses at different times of the day. Their buses have Wi-Fi, so this is perfect. It would also work if you have a cellular connection. I know the school asked me if they thought they had ideas for using it to track certain attendance at activities and events, and go mobile. So it's being very well received wherever we show it. Check-in failed. Okay. I'm going to setup now. In order to have enter plus exit. Now you see the checkout. Now, this could also be used for calculating the time in a particular session or a training class or any type of activity. So we have reports that can capture all the passes. We also have reports that can also capture the total time spent an activity or an event or a classroom session. Fred, it's very simple, and that's what I really like about it.
Yeah, I think that's the feedback I've heard from clients as well. Is the simplicity of it really is what makes it a great program. It's just straightforward, single purpose, present the card, get your passes or your fails. And I'm sure once it gets in our hands or our clients, they'll have some ideas for us. But um, we have other terminals that are have a lot of functions in it, like M Authenticate. So having this simple, straightforward verification tool for on a mobile device is, I think, a great option for our clients. So I'm going to take this control back from you, Dave.
Okay.
And really what we're going to do now is go straight to questions if there are any other questions. I know we've been answering them as we've been going along, but if anybody has any further questions, by all means, please type them in. You should see on your screen now my email as well as the Heartland phone number here. By all means, give us a call or shoot me an email if you have any questions that pop up after the webinar, or that you may have not wanted to ask during the webinar. Um, so just let us know if you have any questions. Okay, here's one. Could you show us how events might look on the web? So I believe you're asking for us to show you how somebody would purchase a event on OneWeb, if I'm understanding this correctly. Um, Thank you for confirming that, Craig. He responded yes. I don't believe we have OneWeb set up that Dave or I can access right at the moment for this, but I can send you a link, Craig. If anybody else would like to see that, um, just let me know. But I can send you a link so that you can see that. I'm sorry. um, he said I'm killing him. I'm sorry, Craig. But we do have that. We'll send you a link that you can access yourself and show you that. We were simply showing the straightforward events and service setup within OneCard. We'll make sure that you can see the web part for students to go online and purchase an event or service. Um, what happens? Another question is, what happens is if access fails and we need to fix the problem on the spot with the OneCard check-in. If access fails and you need to fix the problem on the spot, we do have another application called OneCard Mobile Admin, which would allow an administrator, because you might not want every person who is operating the other mobile apps for check-in, or if the check-in is self-service, have access to make a change. Um, so if it fails, you can go into OneCard Mobile Admin and make that change accordingly. That would allow their card to work. You could also log straight into an administrative terminal and make that change. What I've seen campuses do, if they need to do it quickly, someone right there, might pick up the phone even and call someone who's in an office to make that change. But you do have access to do various functions through our mobile admin program, and that would allow you to make the change and rectify the situation as need be. And again, you can make a judgment in terms of service if you would allow somebody in while you're making a change or not. That would be your call, but we do have those tools available for you to make the necessary adjustments on the fly as needed for a specific card account. Are there any other questions? I don't have any more in the queue. Um, but if you have any, please feel free to type them in or let us know later on. Craig, we will get you a login to our demo area of OneWeb so you can see the events and services set up there. I want to make sure that there are some active events and services there for you to view. Um, so if there's no more questions, what we'll do now is say thank you for joining us. We do have other webinars coming up. Box Office, I believe, is the next webinar next week. By all means, feel free to sign up for that, and we'll get into more direct ticketing for assigned seats and how you can utilize that product for your arenas or location venues on campus that have assigned seating and are not open seating or general admission. So, thank you again for joining us. We appreciate your time. This was recorded and should be posted on our website within the next couple of days once our marketing folks can get it up there. So, thank you very much. And thank you, Dave, for assisting on this. And I hope you all have yourself a great day.